The idea is instead of you manually writing prompts and tweaking the prompts and doing this again and again and again until you turn blue, is you tell the model, so you write loops that tells it this is what I want it to do and this is what I want out of this thing. And it generates the prompts until it gets the right result.
Welcome to Practical AI, everybody. My name's Jeff. I'm here with Peter Lin. Practical AI is brought to you by Pocket AI. Pocket AI is a visualization tool that allows you to prune your models without any loss in accuracy. Visualizing your model weights is like a brain surgeon being able to find individual neurons and removing them without harm to the brain. Similarly, Pocket AI allows you to analyze and prune the weights in your model. Using Pocket AI, we have proven we can select the right backbone model, get that model to actually work, make that model more stable, increase a model's accuracy, decrease the size of a model by up to 60%, and put smaller models into production for half the cost. Finally, you can be done with endless brute force training and new model trials. Pocket AI allows you to perform brain surgery on your existing models, making them not only smaller, but better. Peter, two topics today. First one is Anthropic. Apparently, they're thinking of doing some watermarking. Tell us about that.
Yep. So basically, they want to make it safe so that you can detect if something was generated by a large language model. And they rolled out a feature where they're going to watermark AI-generated text, and that way you can easily detect it, which is good. Because that means like if you're cheating, in theory, a teacher could run it through a detector and go, hey, you generated this from Claude, get an F.
Okay. And where is the watermark something that I can see, or is it like, how is it watermarked, I guess?
So it's similar to watermarking images that, in other words, you can't see it, but it's embedded in there in the code.
Okay. And so essentially like, is it using computer vision to spot like the way ink is, or like the way a letter is written, or is it baked into like the actual content, like it's throwing weird words in there
It's in the actual content. So basically, watermarking is an approach where you add additional stuff or you modify stuff in the data such that a computer can easily detect it and compute it. So in other words, when you view the text, you're not going to see it, but hidden in the text, in the actual computer code, right, there's stuff in there that when you run a tool, it'll go, oh, this is generated by Claude.
Got it. You think this is a good idea, or do you think this is overreach?
No, I think it's a good idea because, I mean, right now, a lot of people are using generative AI to cheat. Now, obviously, in a perfect world, people wouldn't cheat. But in the real world, a lot of people are cheating. Like we mentioned last week, multiple professors have been worried about this, and they've done things like, hey, all the tests are take home except for the final. And if you do way better in reality, because you cheated and you showed up for the final and your grade was like 60% instead of 90, well, then you have to go and prove that you didn't cheat in all the other tests.
Yeah. Is there, apart from academia, is there, do you see this being used in enterprise as well?
I mean, enterprises are definitely using generative AI to do things, for sure. I mean, Microsoft's people on LinkedIn have been posting AI-generated blogs for a couple of years now, at least 2 years, and a lot of it is just garbage. Like, it's factually wrong, it states things that are wrong, it overreaches, and people don't bother to proofread.
So, but do you think the enterprises will use this sort of watermarking to catch it as a either a deterrent or as a test mechanism before stuff goes out?
I think they'll use it depending on the use case. If you're doing code, obviously you don't want any extra stuff in your code because that could have unintended side effects. But if you're generating a report, if you're generating stuff, if the CEO wants to know, hey, did you actually do this report, or did you prompt it? And if you prompt it and it was wrong, well, then you made a huge mistake.
Yeah. Okay. So it could even cross over into enterprise. Good. All right, let's talk about our main topic. And we're kind of back to loop engineering. You and I have been on some calls recently where people have been talking about loop. So it's probably hitting the mainstream, at least as a concept, a little bit more.
Yep.
What is loop engineering, and is it something that is on the way up? Is it overrated? Is it something we should ignore?
It's a useful tool. It was coined about a month ago when someone at Anthropic said, hey, my job today isn't to write prompts. It's to write loops. In other words, I tell the model to create prompts for me, and it does the job until it's done. Now, that all sounds fine if you've got unlimited GPU tokens to spend. If you're a regular person and you've got a budget, then no, it's terrible.
Okay. So essentially, this is a part of a solution that is relevant if you have the capacity and the money to spend on the tokens.
Yeah. But the idea is, instead of you manually writing prompts and tweaking the prompts and doing this again and again and again until you turn blue, is you tell the model, so you write loops that tells it, this is what I want it to do and this is what I want out of this thing. And it generates the prompts until it gets the right result. Now, it could run for a couple hours or a couple days. So if you're running it for a couple of days, well, then chances are you might burn a lot of tokens.
Oh, I see. So if I was just going to kind of step back from this, and instead of using my brain to write prompts to get a result, I tell the engine essentially, this is the result I want. You figure out what prompts get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you have no idea, or do you, when you initiate that loop process, do you have any idea how many tokens that could take? Or is it?
No, well, it'll vary depending on each run. You can run it 10 times and get vastly different token counts.
Are there techniques that are out there already on loop?
Yeah, I mean, internally in OpenAI and Anthropic and Microsoft and so on, they've all been doing it, but they have the hardware. They have potentially unlimited tokens to spend. And so they do. They'll spend up 1,000 GPUs. Not a problem.
Once you have gotten the result you want, is there value in seeing either the process that it went through or which prompt resulted in the right output?
You could, right? The benefit of loop is it can go a lot faster than you can. Downside is if it spent a week and it ran 10,000 prompts, how long is it going to take you to understand the prompts? Well, probably longer than if you actually had written the prompts to begin with. Let's say it would have taken you 2 weeks to write the prompts to begin with. Well, now it's going to be double that. It's going to take you 4 weeks to understand the prompts that the loop created to get the result that you want. So is that a win? Well, it's a win in terms of it got it done in 2 weeks and you didn't have to spend time and brain power. Downside is you don't understand what it did.
And how does the looping process get past the context rot problem?
Well, so it's using recursive language model approach where you tell it a goal and then it figures out like, oh, okay, what do I need to achieve this goal? And then it spins up a bunch of agents. So it could be, so if you've got unlimited GPUs, you can tell it to spin up 100 agents. If you've got limited GPU, you might tell it 2 agents or 4. So depending on your power budget, it might take you a day if you're Anthropic or OpenAI or Microsoft. Or if you're a regular person working on a company, it might take you a month.
So was this a technique you would recommend someone who's got an open source model and, maybe a big Mac, system, or maybe their own little server? Could they do this on their own and basically run token-free loops?
So assuming that the DGX station for NVIDIA is out before the end of the year, you could buy one of those for $100K and then let it run for however long it takes and just pay for electricity bill. Or you could get a M3 Ultra Max Studio or 2 and then let that run. If you don't have that kind of budget, then no, you should not be doing a loop because you're going to burn through your token budget within about a couple of days, and your CFO and CTO can be like, hey, why did you spend all our tokens in 2 days?
Yeah, running loops. Perfect. Well, it seems like it's a hot topic, and we have heard it from our clients, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up again. And it sounds like, yeah, in certain use cases it makes sense, but for most people at this time, it's a risk that you're going to basically spend a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for the topic, Peter. This is good. Good talk. Remember, you can find us on Spotify if you want to just listen to these episodes. If you have any topics or questions or whatever, we're always happy to address those. Until next time, we will see you later. Take care.